Let's take a look at the Zelos Swordfish. This is just another watch that is showcasing the fact that this brand is turning out some really good options in the affordable watch market for an amazing price. Their introductory prices are like mind-blowingly low, really. This particular model, let's get this out of the way, with the Seiko NH35 movement in it is only $299. That's for this coloration, and then there's a few other ones. If you look at, they have a meteorite dial. That one's $449 for the NH35 movement, and then in both those dial options, they have a ETA 2892 movement option with a date window down at the 6 o'clock. And those are for these regular colorations is $549, and then if you want the meteorite dial, it is $699. All of those prices are like crazy good for what you're getting, because this watch is built rock solid, and it's a very unique design. It's all of its own thing. So let's talk about some of that real quick. One of the things you notice, I think at least I did right off the bat, is that inner, I don't know even what you want to call it, that inner piece here that's like octagon type shape, that sits inside the ceramic, but just outside of the sapphire crystal. So really cool design feature, I think. And then the bezel action on this, I purposely left it here so I'd only get 15 minutes of turn out of it, but it is super tight, locks into place, dead accurate, and lines up perfect. I mean, just perfection. It is a very well constructed watch. You have a really nice screw down crown with nice knurling on it, easy grip. It's signed, deeply signed. And then that dial, since I'm zoomed in, if you look at that dial, at least with this coloration, you have a nice blue sunburst. You have the logo up top there, just below the 12. And then if you look, I mean, that's a sandwich dial. So you're going to have some really cool lume option below there. And we'll close out with a lume shot, because the lume on this thing is spectacular. Really thick, well done, polished hands with plenty of lume in there. And then you have the nice balance of the yellow seconds hand matching that track on the outside there with the yellow trim. And then if you look, that is not just regular paint around the outside. That's actually BGW9 lume painted on the outside circumference of the dial. And then we're going to have some C3 lume, I think, in the layered dial and on the hands. And then also loomed on the bezel. So very, very cool. This bracelet, although you do have, it is a kind of a pet peeve of mine, but these are solid end links, and then you have the protruding solid center link part of it, so that kind of extends the lug to lug, which the lug to lug on this guy is only 48 millimeters, so that's not going to be a huge deal. So you have a 48, it's a 42 millimeter wide watch, and then it measures in 13 millimeter thick. So really good sizes overall, I think. 22 millimeter lug width. So, but with these links and the fact that they all articulate, when you guys see that, that's super intricate, and it's going to make for some really good comfort. But because it does that, it actually lays flat on the case back, which adds to the comfort, even though you don't have the articulating center link of the end link. But you can see this thing is just going to wrap around your wrist, no problem. So although this particular clasp is not my favorite, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and many people actually like it. So it clicks in really nice, everything lines up good. You have the double pushers there, you have some micro adjust there, it looks like 3 of them, and then you also have that extension there so you can fine tune or adjust on the fly. And then it'll push in on its own, but it's a little more easier or smoother if you just depress those and push it in. But very nicely done clasp. It's just not my favorite. I like them a little more thinner and sleeker, but overall it's a really good clasp, and it is signed. So Let me throw this on wrist, give you guys a wrist shot. And if just with that bracelet and then with those flat links like that, with so many of them that articulate separate, the play on the light, you guys see how it just grabs the light reflection on this thing is awesome. So like when you're wearing it, no matter what kind of light you're going to be in, if it's going to be super bright or, you know, a dimmer light, this thing is going to look like jewelry on the wrist, no problem. So, because it's just going to be so reflective, which is very, very cool. So you can see it just fits the wrist perfectly. Just flows so nice. I have zero complaints with the fit and overall construction and value with this watch. It's just a home run. So just for comparison, here it is next to like a Seiko Turtle. You can see that it's, you know, the lug to lug on it is going to be close to a Turtle, but you know, with it being only 42 millimeter, it kind of blurs the lines. It's almost like, seems like it is more in line with, say, like an SKX, I think. So, but very, very, very good watch. Very happy with what Zelos is turning out. This is a killer option for sure. So, let's talk about lume. Because this thing, now I'm going to blast it real quick. I'm going to blast it so you guys can get the full effect. And I think you're going to be impressed. Check that out. That is so slick that they did the lume that way. You have all of that lume on there, and then you have the two different colors, so it just pops. And those handset, I mean, to use a large surface on the handset like that to get that much lume is just brilliant. All of us lume junkies can rejoice with this watch for sure. That thing is just a joy to look at. And I know it looks good on camera, but I'm telling you, this thing looks even better in real life. I mean, it just looks, it almost looks like it's battery operated. Not because it's so bright. It is a nice bright lume, but it almost looks battery operated because there's so much of it. It doesn't look like it's not normal for that much lume on a watch that we're used to typically. So super excited about this one, guys. If you're interested in getting one of these, you gotta get on that pre-order. And whether you want the Seiko movement or, honestly, I would prefer, I know it's a stretch, you know, going from 300 to like say 550, but to get that date at the 6 o'clock and get the ETA 2892 movement in it, I think long term you're going to be much happier with it. So, and I think that's really where the value is to me. You know, but if you can't stretch it, $300, you're not sacrificing much, because the NH35 is a really good movement. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.